Thanks, Suman, for joining in. It's a privilege to have you here for the Fractal podcast on life sciences. Uh, for the audience, I'm Sagar Shah, client partner at Fractal, and with us here we have Suman Giri, the global head of data science and analytics at Merck and MSD. Welcome, Suman, for this podcast, and we'll be jumping right in with a few very popular questions for the analytics industry, and hearing from the thought leadership from Suman's side. So, Suman, first question to you: how is the pharma industry being affected by today's volatile economy?
Um, Not to the extent that other industries are. Right? First off, barring a few exceptions, drugs are fairly inelastic. People will continue to get sick, so the demand isn't as much a function of spending power as it might be in other sectors. If anything, because of COVID, some pharma companies did pretty well, as we all know. I think there's some numbers that I heard over the past week, which is that the S&P index has been down by 20% over the past year or so, but the pharma index is up by 3%. So this gives you some sense of how we're performing relative to the general economy. Most of the positive investor outlook on our company has been driven by our strong products and our strong pipeline.
Awesome. That's very well. Thanks for sharing, and it's great to hear. Great to hear. All right. So the next move to the second question, which is more close to our hearts. How is AI analytics helping drive competitive advantage at Merck?
Yeah, so we use data science in every step of the product lifecycle, from research to manufacturing to commercialization. So data science has a role to play in understanding the diseases we treat, their prevalence, in creating personalized medicine strategies, and accelerating the way we design and develop new drugs. For inline products in the commercial space, which is where we operate in, there's a lot of sophisticated data science that takes place today, especially as it pertains to forecasting, calculating the effect of promotional marketing, reviewing promotional content for compliance, competitive threat analysis, and in creating personalized engagement strategy for healthcare professionals to make them aware of the drugs and its benefits. There are also use cases like automated data matching, rare disease patient finding, etc., where machine learning and analytics is heavily leveraged.
Awesome. So it seems like a lot of data science and machine learning is being implemented at Merck as well. And I'm guessing a lot of your team members are implementing those. So that leads me to my next question. How are you developing, careers for your teams and AI analytics?
Yeah, so we're thinking hard about talent retention, right? Our competitive advantage in the general marketplace is our relentless focus on impact, right? So we know that analytics and data science folks today have options, like they could go work anywhere because every industry and every company needs data science talent. But would you rather use the skills you have to go make a button more colorful or to save lives? So that is the value proposition with which we kind of focus on the why of what we do. But we're also mindful that the impact is just one aspect, right? We're making sure that our talent pool is mostly mobile so that they can move across different verticals so that they have a good exposure to the business. We have a partnership with Analytics Vidya right now. We're also providing growth opportunities at both management and technical tracks. And we also encourage participation in innovative things like building accelerators, participating in partnerships with other universities and capstones. Basically, we just want to make it a fun and fulfilling place to work at.
Sounds like a fantastic place to work. Thanks, Suman. And what are some of the challenges that you're facing currently in, building successful analytics teams?
It's mostly talent, man, as you know. So it's commercial pharma analytics needs both technical and domain expertise, right? So it's a rare kind of unicorn pool of talent that we are after. And people want to feel obviously like they're part of a community, they have a growth path, and they have a say in what they work on and how they do it. So we're mindful of that. And most of our time as a leadership team is spent on how do we create a structure that enables all of these different facets at scale. And I think that is the hard part.
Got it. Got it. I think most industries are facing that challenge as well. It's not just pharma, right? Because AI and analytics purely without domain expertise can lead to disastrous results, as we all know. All right, let's move a little deeper into data sources, right? So it's of course internal, external, structured, unstructured, a lot of data around the world. what are the new data sources that you believe will help pharma and especially Merck in the upcoming few years?
So we're so focused on impact, right? I think the one data source that we perhaps could leverage a lot more of is social determinants of health, or SDOH health, to advance, let's say, health equity, and truly make sure that our products are having the impact that they are intended to. So there's a lot of work around that. There's this new construct of tokenization within commercial and syndicated data sets that allow you to match, let's say, your consumer activity with your kind of claims data, with HCP engagement data. So there are companies like LiveRamp and DataVant who are playing in the space that enable you to do a lot more interesting things with the existing data that you wouldn't normally do otherwise. So there's that. And then we're also seeing a lot of imaging and lab data come up even in the commercial side. Like there's some use cases that can be tackled through them. And finally, I would say I'm very bullish about the prospect and the potential of synthetic data, as it enables scale in areas that don't have the data, and is also kind of has privacy preserving implications. So I think in addition to the data that you can buy and purchase and generate, I think synthetic data would be another thing I'd lump onto things I'm excited about.
Fantastic, fantastic. So lots of external help from data sets that we've not explored till now. That's great to hear. The next one, Suman, is how will analytics and AI transform the pharma industry, or will it? In the next few years, it's already doing so well. So, how do you think analytics will help transform it?
Yeah, so I think all of us heard about the AlphaFold work from DeepMind, right? So basically, they took on this problem of kind of protein folding, which is part of drug discovery, and managed to solve it at scale. Now, the next frontier is protein binding, right? So, what are the candidate proteins that, let's say, a drug can bind with? So, I would say is the next holy grail as far as the potential of AI in the pharma industry, especially the drug discovery space, is concerned. But also on the commercial side, again, which is what we represent, there's a lot of potential for us to look at the work we do and we've done over the past so many years in a specific way, and use all of the new kind of technological advances from AI, like federated learning, right? Like transfer learning, right? Generative adversarial network. So all of these things have potential to revolutionize how we've been doing certain things, perhaps slightly less efficiently or maybe slightly less accurately, and take it to the next level so that we can truly have the impact that we know we can.
That's a lot of stuff. So lots is going on, it seems, in pharma and AI. Very, very excited to hear what has your journey been in AI been throughout the, I'm guessing last decade.
Yeah, man. So I studied data science and machine learning as part of my graduate education. Undergrad, you could say it is loosely connected because I majored in math. And as part of my graduate education, my research, my thesis focused on this problem of energy disaggregation. So how do you take a multi-source, single source, multi-channel kind of signal and disaggregate it into the individual sources is what I focused on. And I was looking for an industry where I could move into, where I could use some of the skill sets that I have, but also have some impact, right? Again, I'm big on just working on meaningful problems. So healthcare sounded like a decent enough space to explore. I landed in the insurance payer side. I worked at Aetna. Then I moved into Highmark, which is kind of a payer provider. So that gave me a good vantage point as to the healthcare ecosystem, the payer provider ecosystem. I moved into consulting for a little bit, again, in a data science role, so that I could understand how the industry as a whole functions. And then as of 2 years, I've been at Merck because that was the one industry that I didn't have enough exposure to. So life sciences is what I'm deliberately kind of operating in right now. So by and large, I've kind of created a career out of navigating within the US healthcare ecosystem and using data science to make things better and have more impact.
Great, great. That sounds like a glamorous journey. And what excites you, Suman, every day?
So apart from just like the potential that things that I do make sure that somebody is getting the treatment that they need, right? And somebody is getting years added to their lives is obviously a big motivator. Even on days when, let's say, I'm feeling a little bit down about this or that, the micro problems, the macro kind of impact lens helps me stay motivated. But I think if I were to truly kind of pin down what excites me, it is the potential to build and design systems that scale, right? Because pharma by nature, because of the different therapeutic areas that we operate in, is a system that is built for scale. The same questions get asked across different therapeutic areas, across different markets. So it's not just point solutions that we're after. Like, how do you kind of take that one question that is asked and then say, okay, like if I were to solve this for like 10 times 10, which is 100 different other times this question is going to be asked. Now, what are the system considerations? And you'll find that it's similar to, let's say, being a good cook at home versus being a good cook at a restaurant, right? Those are completely different
Yeah.
skill sets, right? Just because you cook well for two people doesn't mean that translates to like 200 people on a daily basis. So that keeps me excited because that lets me kind of work with some of the smartest people I know to build systems that can truly scale.
That's very exciting, and also with scale comes bigger impact, right? The 100x impact that you're talking about will truly get realized when you design those systems. So that
Exactly.
makes a lot of sense. I have one other question on the future, right? So what do you think are the trends of the future that may be realized in the next, 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10. So obviously Web3, right? It is first-party data, primarily from a privacy preserving data perspective. I'm a big believer in the Web3 landscape, and I think commercial organizations, especially ones that rely on syndicated data, are going to have to adapt on how they create a first-party data strategy. So that's number one. Metaverse is again big, and I don't know if we'll realize it within the next 5 to 10 years, but at least we'll see the first few tangible use cases come through. Quantum computing, right? Like, so I think in the next 5 to 10 years we'll start seeing some um, problems that perhaps aren't possible today with the computing power that we have start to get realized through quantum computing. And then the trend that I personally am kind of hoping, rooting for is like responsible and sustainable AI being more and more a part of our conversations and just being a part of the process that we follow as we look to build and extend our use cases.
Fantastic. All the important things and very exciting things personally as well for me. If some of these take off, really, that's the next career for many of us. So fantastic. Thank you so much, Suman, for doing this.